r/ask Reddit. What's something that people think makes them look cool, but actually has the opposite effect? Not caring to identify their own toxic behaviors and instead play it cool as if they're actually proud of their behavior. I'm a beach. It's just who I am. I won't apologize. You're almost 30. Literally no one is impressed. Edit. Thanks for my first silver. Cheers. Edit 2. Thanks for the gold. Glad so many others dislike these kinds of people. 2. Or I'll go from nice to baddest beach in the land, watch yourself. Top it off with a picture of a Looney Tunes character with tats doing drugs with a gun. Oh god, Tweety Bird with a revolver smoking a cigarette is something I'll never be able to unsee. About 15-16 years ago I was sitting in my American history class in high school. Almost every day before class started, this boy in my class would walk in with his music blaring from his flip phone. He thought he was the shit. He was not. Music blaring from my flip phone, title of my new mixtape. Music blaring from my flip phone, title of my sex tape. When they brag about not having read the book, I was reading a book during a lunch break while on a 6-week course. Some girl off to the side somewhere was like, oh my god, he's reading, in the most shocked and disgusted tone imaginable. She asked why and the tutor replied, some people just like to read. Some people read to learn. And the girl replied, but you learn everything you need to know in school. This is sad and scary. People hating things just because it isn't their personal taste and refusing to let others enjoy those things. I like to tell people, what you hate does not make you interesting. Talk to me about what you like. Let's just staple that on the whole internet. Does a smell count? The guy who puts on 3 bottles of cologne every morning. My dad does this, but it's kinda just an Iranian thing to pour perfume on yourself. If I understand the cultural origin of this correctly, much like how most people of African descent have to apply a lotion religiously to not get ashy, traditionally in many Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and North African countries, you would have used a somewhat fragrant oil as a general skin care, hair care, beard care product, etc. Product for moisturizing, styling, and hygiene. Somehow the function of the oil was lost and replaced with just putting on a ton of cologne. Bragging about the amount of physical fights they've been in. I work with stereotypically dangerous animals, so many people think it makes them look so cool and hard as hell if they threaten the creatures. They even come to me bragging that they'd win a fight if they jumped in the enclosure. You don't look cool. You're being a dong. They aren't even dangerous anyway if you know anything about them besides movie exaggerations. Once a pair of teenagers stole a meerkat from the Kansas City Zoo. At first, the zoo assumed the meerkat had become dinner for a bird of prey. It was an open-air exhibit, but the meerkat showed up in an aquarium outside a Petco a few days later. Turns out, meerkats are not good pets. I'm sure those guys felt really cool when they were sneaking the animal out of the zoo. But now, thanks to them, visitors at that zoo can't get very close to the meerkats. Go to protect those meerkats from the people. A place associated with my work has an open-top turtle exhibit. People would bring and abandon their pet turtles in this exhibit. More than once they brought an infection. Others caused fights. People are amazingly apt at being dongs. Belittling someone in the service industry. If you're showing how much of a big shit you are by abusing a waitress or retail worker, the only one you're really diminishing is yourself. And if you do this on a date, you might as well be warning the other person that you'll ultimately end up abusing them too if they're stupid enough to continue dating you. I'll never forget my ex-boyfriend's dad swinging the doors to the kitchen of a restaurant open to let a waitress know he needed a beer because she dared not notice him walking up to her, and he couldn't wait a second like a normal person until she came out. That was a pretty solid indication, on top of many others, that he's a ducking dong. Bragging about how dramatic your life is, and making everyone else out to be the cause of said drama, rather than manning up and taking responsibility for your own mistakes. Used to be this girl. The day I decided I was at fault, and not always the victim, was the day my life became dramatically less dramatic. She still happened. I just dealt with it and viewed it so much differently. Blasting their music for everyone around them to hear, either on their phone or from their car in traffic. I drive a lot and listen to a ton of music when I'm in my car. Sometimes I just get really into it and don't realize how loud it actually is, especially after having been on the highway for a while. I do get self-conscious and turn it down, and red lights though, lol. Me too. I always turn it down when I need to slow down or stop near other cars, haha. I just like singing but not hearing my own voice, okay. Making fun of mocking others in public. Man, grow up. You're the whole ass in this situation. These girls at my work make fun of me all the time. I think it makes them feel superior. We're in different departments, so luckily I don't have to deal with them a lot. Recently I wore a crocheted hat my brother had given me for my birthday. When I walked in that day, they called out "nice hat" and started laughing with each other. I really like that hat. I want to wear it, but I don't want them to make fun of me. ETA they like to do it in front of a crowd. Wear the shit out of that hat. On dating profiles, when men take pictures of themselves flipping off the camera. Like, why? Who looks at a picture like that and thinks, he seems ornery. Right swipe? Question mark? He's telling us he doesn't care. He's putting the time and effort in to show us he doesn't care. He cares a lot about demonstrating that he doesn't care. Surprise, nobody has mentioned posing with guns, especially gun pointed at camera, but all of them. Really? Edit. I just stopped replying to people individually because I got so many responses saying the same thing. I'm mostly referring to people that are specifically trying to look cool by posing with a gun. If you use the gun for some purpose, hunting, military, sport shooting, it's way more acceptable, as it's part of your career or something you accomplished. Especially those morons who have fingers on triggers. I prefer to use my fingers as the guns. Giant trucks. For every person that thinks, wow, that's an awesome truck, 10 people make jokes about the size of the driver's dong. What I think is funny is chicks will talk about how a dude with a big truck has a small dong, but think that girls with big trucks and lifted jeeps are bad bitches that need a lumberjack of a dude to kiss their asses. Yeah, it's an outrageous double standard that nobody jokes about their tiny vaginas. Being the cool parent and letting their kids do whatever they want. No, little Billy just hit my kid. That's not cool. Not cool at all. You can be their friend later, if you manage to raise them into adults worth befriending. Blame shitty traits on horoscopes. I'm a Gemini. We are all beaches, get over it, edit. Thanks for my first ever silver. Well, I'm a Scorpio, so I stab people. Deal with it, Brenda, you Gemini beach. Being proud of being lazy. The cool kind of lazy is the kind of lazy that gets shit done with maximum efficiency. They do a lot, with as little effort as possible. There is an entire field of science dedicated to the study of maximum results with minimum effort. It's called engineering. P. Smoking. Smoking is like fedoras. Everybody has seen somebody look like a cool mother ducker doing it, but fails to notice how silly they themselves look. I have never seen anyone look cool in a fedora. Edit. Okay, I get it, I need to watch more noir films, but I wouldn't really say Indiana Jones wears a fedora trilogy. Being loud and obnoxious. White sunglasses. Bonus points if they're enormous Oakleys. Also bonus if they have a backwards Realtree hat. Super bonus if you're indoors. Boasting about the number of their sexual partners. IDNO1 never felt like much of a brag to begin with. Unless it's the one. Reckless driving. Duck those people so much. I saw a tweet this morning, weaving in and out among cars to speed 100 feet only to turn into a burger joint. Like, really? You couldn't have just stayed in your lane and driven the speed limit and gotten there 5 seconds later? Students, who don't have a lot of money, wearing designer clothing. You think you look rich, but in reality it's fake, or you don't know how to manage your finances. A friend of mine recently bought Gucci shoes for 450 euros when he's getting a study loan from the government of 800 euros a month for his study. Then maybe you should spend your money on something else or lower your loan and not spending your money on stuff to look rich or cool or whatever it is. And as grown-ups with their cars, oh look what loan I qualified for, ladies. I live paycheck to paycheck. That's just how I roll. My area is known for a high percentage of BMWs being leased cars. Everyone likes to act like they're doing well, and when discussing it with someone who drives a BMW, they told me it was a lifestyle for the area. Fasapum. People walking around with their phone held up in front of their mouth, not to their ear, and they have the phone on speaker because the whole world is so interested in your damn conversation. Edit. Okay. Didn't expect this many replies. Maybe I should clarify a few points. Firstly, I understand some people have to do this, which is why I don't react to the annoyance. Secondly, if I see an older person doing it, I give them a pass, unless the conversation is annoying or inappropriate for a public place. The people I see mostly doing this, 98% of the time, are females aged 15-29. I am 30th before anyone starts screaming about sexism. Lastly, the question was, what do people do to look cool, but don't? Yes, I admit, the toth phone annoy me to hell, but the point is that no one looks cool doing it. As Smidget replied, it became, open bracket, I don't want to use the word trend, because I don't think it is that widespread. Something people copied because reality TV celebs were doing it. OMG. Doing this I look just like Kim K. No you don't. You look like a twat. Also just people who refuse to use things like headphones in public. Nobody likes your music. Face tattoos. How else will my future grandchildren know to respect me? Especially if they talk about no one wanting to hire them. This guy my husband knows loves to tell people about how much he hates vegetables. He is in his 40s and legit looks like a senior citizen with very few teeth. He is the farthest thing from cool, but he clings to this childhood mentality that disliking spinach and Brussels sprouts is still cool. It's not. Being alive is cool. When they respond to a new idea that goes against the status quo meter with cynicism and derision instead of real discussion, I've never understood it. What do those people think will happen to them if they don't guard themselves against being open to new things? On the flip side, I hate when someone brings up something against the status quo meter, but then gets agitated by me questioning it. Yes, I am open to your new idea. However, if it can't hold up to some basic arguments, then there is probably a reason it isn't popular. Come back to me when you can back it up. Telling me to research your whatever you are telling me isn't a solid answer either. Give me the answers or some real direction, or leave me alone. Tap out shirts, truck nuts, white sunglasses, walking with your arms out to the sides because you are so muscular. You just described a majority of Alberta, Canada. Smoking or vaping, and Fortnite dancing. I'm not seeing enough movement. Definitely vaping, especially in a large crowd and you're blowing your smoke in everyone's faces. It's extremely rude and inconsiderate. Bragging about how they have no filter. Don't care who they offend or say it like it is. You're an immature child who wants attention. We get it. My husband's new boss asked him and a co-worker, when was the last time you cried? When they both were thinking about it, he was like, I haven't cried since I was in preschool. Both my husband and the co-worker were like, dude, that's probably not emotionally healthy. And he was apparently flabbergasted that they didn't think he was cool for that. Really patchy beard. Dude, shave it off. Like, let's get out of here. Scoob. Oh man. An old roomie was guilty of this. He had the worst, scraggly neckbeard and thought it made him look like a Viking. Like, nah, Vikings had much better hygiene, my dude. 20-something-year-old guys that still hang out at high schools date high school girls, ducking creeps. Yep, at 13 my friends and I would hang out with 19 and 20-year-old guys who'd flirt with us, take us to concerts, drive us around and date some of my same age friends, and we loved it. Then I turned 20 and realized how absurdly stunted and duck-in weird a 20-year-old would have to be to actually want to hang out middle schoolers. Yuck. Sagging pants. For real, especially when they have to hold their pants up when walking to keep them from falling down. How can they do anything in that condition? People that have to add their 2 cents to everything because they think they know everything and are never wrong. Casually claiming they have some sort of condition based on some arbitrary quality they share with people that actually have it. OCD being the biggest example I can think of, but I get a few for my own. The worst part is how obvious it is when they try to describe it to someone that actually has to deal with the reality. If it doesn't outright make you look stupid, it's still definitely awkward. Undiagnosed gluten intolerance. If you like the potato-based crust, that's fine. Just don't say you're gluten-free if you're washing your GF pizza down with glutinous beer. When they complain about something that's a serious concern, then brush off any attempts to help them. Dude, this sucks. I have a massive headache and feel dizzy as duck from only sleeping 30 minutes this week. Don't know why, but I just can't fall asleep. That's insomnia. Do see a doctor. Like right now, PFFFFF. Nah, I'll be fine. Fedoras. You're thinking of the trilby, which is a cancer of men's fashion. Biker lifestyle. Hey, the show presented the Sons of Anarchy as shitty people. They didn't mean for you to emulate them. Talking about how much money they make. Chewing gum obnoxiously with their mouths open. Saying AF after everything. Agreed. Annoying AF. Referring to girls or women as females. E.g., you gotta watch what you say around these females. Following trends and looking like a clone of what's popular or in. Counterpoint. Going out of your way to avoid anything popular or in. Like what you like. There are tons of current women's fashions I find dumb. But when shopping for a new coat and seeing the same style on 80% of women, I kind of liked being able to just go, oh cool, that's what we're doing this year. I'll look for a grey one. People who brag online about how rich smart they are, it ironically makes them look like they're compensating for the stuff they're bragging about. Man bun. Every guy who has one just looks so proud of himself. It's things some people don't like. Making fun of someone based on their hobbies or interest. I'm a 23-year-old female and I get made fun of by my 17-year-old sister-in-law because I love anime and play KH. She only ever does it when there's people around too. Jewel lying. MLM people. I value my time so much that I wasted my money on pointless product and I'm going to guilt trip everyone around me into supporting my bad choices. Giant lifted or raised trucks. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.